We also invite you to stay connected with 𝗕𝗏𝗏 Publishing through our YouTube channel and LinkedIn page, where recordings of previous sessions, useful resources, and updates are regularly shared. The links are being posted in the chat box for your convenience. You may check. The links for both LinkedIn channel and YouTube channel is being shared in the chat. Please have a look. Now, it is my privilege to introduce our esteemed speaker for today, Ms. 𝗕𝗂 𝗪𝗏, List Head for Humanities and Social Science at 𝗕𝗏𝗏 Publishing Company. Ms. 𝗕𝗂 holds BA Honours and MA degree in History. She has extensive experience in curriculum planning, academic publishing, and content development. She has played a significant role in creating high-quality, learner-centered resources that support both educators and students. Her work involves close collaboration with authors, editors, designers, and academic experts to develop meaningful and engaging educational content aligned with evolving classroom needs. With her expertise and deep commitment to quality education, we are confident that today's session will be both enriching and insightful. So without further delay, I would like to invite now Ms. 𝗕𝗂 𝗪𝗏 to take over the session. 𝗕𝗂, the platform is yours now. Over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Shivani. A very warm good evening to all of you. Welcome to the session, and on behalf of 𝗕𝗏𝗏, I would also again welcome all of you to join this session on social science. So the series that I'm going to present today is New Grow with Social Science. And I would like to add that Shivani is also part of the social science team, and she will also be a part of this session. So any question she can also answer. So I'll take you to the presentation, and about the book, I'll give you a short demo of any chapter from any of the grades, the TRB, as well as the digital suite. So without wasting any time, let me start with the presentation. I'm going to share my screen. I hope my screen is visible. If one of you can confirm.
Yes, 𝗕𝗂.
Okay. So welcome to the session. So this is the series New Grow with Social Science. So this is a complete package from grades 1 to 8. Now, for grades 1 to 5, we call it New Grow with Social Studies because in 1 to 5, we are it is a mix of everything around us. And then following 6 to 8, it's called Social Science as the NCF recommends. Now, this is the agenda for today's webinar. First is a program overview. Then a book walkthrough. Like, what about the book? How have we designed it, the structure and everything? The teaching methodology, the digital support, implementation, followed by a question and answer session. Why social science books 6 to 8? Now, you all are aware that social science books 6 to 8 have been released by NCERT since last 2 years. 2024, they released book 6, followed by 7 and 8, part-wise for 7 and 8. Now, social science is our history. It is our past, it is our present, and has a strong bearing on the future. Our series, presented by 𝗕𝗏𝗏, the title is New Grow with Social Science for grade 6 to 8, deals with various disciplines of social science following the guidelines of NCF 2023. It is based on the NCERT July till 2025 book. That means the books that were released from 2024, 6, followed by 7 and 8. Now, New Grow with Social Science 6 to 8 offers, like, it aims to help students explore knowledge across diverse themes prescribed by NCERT. It successfully achieves the vision of NCF 2023 and integrates geography, history, civics, and economics just books within the Indian context and in relation to the contemporary world. The earlier book, like which follows the guidelines of NCF 2005, we will see there was clear-cut compartmentalization of geography, history, and civics. However, this series, you will see it's integrated as based on the NCERT books. So economics have also been included. The program overview. So first of all, the components of the series. What all does this series of New Grow with Social Science comprises? They comprises of grade 6 to 8. You have grade 6, 7, part 1 and 2, 8, part 1. For the time being, till NCERT releases part 2, you all are aware of the fact that part 2 had run into some controversy regarding a certain portion of judiciary chapter. So it is being reviewed by the board, NCERT, as well as somebody appointed by the Supreme Court. So till the book is released, we will not be able to talk about part 2. We don't even know what are the chapters being discussed. Okay, then we have the teacher's resource book for the grades that have been released, as well as the digital resources for both teachers and students. The curriculum, it is NCERT aligned to NCF 2023. The approach is interactive, experiential, activity-based, discovery-based, and discussion-based. Unique feature, a balanced approach between NCERT and other publishers' textbooks heavy. The content is neither too less like the NCERT books, not too heavy like other publishers. It covers all the themes given in NCERT books. So by this, what we are trying to say is that if you go through one of the NCERT books which are available digital, I will take you one chapter, and when I explain that, you will be able to get a better understanding. So in NCERT, the chapters are very, the content given within the chapters are very haphazard, not clearly in a structured, systematic flow, less content, and that is something that teachers struggle with when they go through NCERT books. So it starts with something and then some other topic comes and there is no coherent relationship. So there has to be some continuity, be it within history, geography, or economics. There has to be a gradual progression. And in some other publishers' textbook, you will see like a lot of content is given, like too text heavy. So that students as well as the teachers also find it difficult. So we have followed a middle approach. We have not made the content too heavy as well as not too less, but at the same time, we have covered all the themes that have been given in the NCERT. Now, you'll get a clear idea when I will take you through one of the chapters. Now, there is one element within the chapter that is called Global Connect. You will find in all the chapters of the books that highlights events across the globe relevant to that particular content. India-specific questions, information, or activities rooted in Indian culture, tradition, and values. So basically, these are based on NCF guidelines, which talks about rootedness in India. In-text question for quick recapitulation, you will find within the text. Case study, a small case study within every chapter that provides an in-depth study of either an event or a concept, followed by 2-3 questions. Now, all the chapters have competency-based questions, including assertion reasoning that has been prescribed by NCERT, and also follows the guidelines of CBSE, like assertion reasoning and everything. So from 6 onwards, even in grades 5 for that matter, we have included in some of the chapters. 6 to 8, you will find in every chapter. SDG, Sustainable Development Goals, we have tagged in various elements to raise awareness among learners and help them become empathetic, responsible, and global citizens of the 21st century. And SDG goals are varied, like it can be based on reduced inequality, to climate action, to life on land, to gender equality, responsible consumption and production, to industry, infrastructure, innovation. So like a chapter on the Marathas, where the Marathas focused on building their navy, as well as infrastructure within the regions controlled by them. So there, in a particular place, we have tagged as industry, innovation, and in infrastructure, SDG element. Now, HPC, to track progress of students, HPC stands for Holistic Progress Card. We'll find at the end of the book for every chapter. Now, book walkthrough. basically, NCF recommends a 5-step process for classroom teaching. Introduction of the chapter with a warm-up question. In every chapter, at the beginning, you will find a warm-up question which introduces to that particular chapter. Followed by teaching core concepts of that particular chapter. Then engaging in activities, like various activities that we have given within the chapter. It can be discussion-based, it can be critical thinking-based, art integration, whatever. Then assessments, chapter end exercises, practice, as well as test papers. Assessments can also include worksheets that we have given as QR code as well as in digital. We'll come to that later. Self-assessment of learners are the holistic progress card given at the end of the book. Now, features of the series. Tickle Your Brain is the warm-up exercises to introduce learners to the topic. Followed by Info Bites, which basically are extra information, provides interesting information to keep learners engaged and broaden their horizons. So within a chapter, you will find all these elements. Let's learn more. This is another pedagogical elements that includes real-life connect through research-based experiential learning, art integration, collaboration, communication. Then in moving on to the next slide, you will see Let's Reflect promotes inquiry-based learning and promotes 21st century skills. So here you can see one SDG, clean water and sanitation, have been tagged. Global Connect, the parallel events across the world, and that took place within the same time frame. We have incorporated that within the chapter. Now, these are info by, but a SDG goal that I'm trying to talk about, which raises awareness among learners. So here the SDG goal is gender equality. Similarly, all the 13 SDG goals have been covered. Now, features of the series also includes case study, which was one of the unique features that I spoke about. So in this way, it has been given. Then let's check in-text questions to recapitulate learning within the text. Now, let's check can also be a part of assessment. You can consider that. For assessments, on the left, a screenshot of the practice end questions. The top you will see is assertion reasoning questions and the options. Statement-based questions also we have given. Then answer the following questions in brief, answer the following questions in detail, followed by picture study. On top of that, like on the previous page, it will start with the multiple choice questions. There will be fill in the blanks also. It can be true or false, variety of questions. So assessment includes a variety of competency-based questions to evaluate progress of learners for their assessment purpose. Now, model test papers. At the end of every book, we have given 1 to 2 model test papers. One model test paper is given for grade 8 part 1. It has only 7 chapters. So 7 chapters, we have given 1 model test paper. In grade 6, we have 14 chapters. We have given 2 test papers. In grade 7 part 1 also, there are 12 chapters. We have given 2. Even part 2 also, we have given 2. So in this way, we have covered it. And model test papers includes all the back-end exercises that we have given. Now, these are the holistic progress card we were talking about for self-assessment purpose. So I have taken one screenshot. You will see some of the chapters. So it includes the columns of self-assessment, peer assessment, and teacher's assessment. So at the end of every chapter, this kind of self-assessment can be done. It is given at the end of the book. Now, the NCF and NEP connect. So what are the elements and how do a particular chapter aligns itself with NEP 2020 or the NCF recommendations? Critical thinking questions. We have included a wide range of critical thinking questions, which can be HOTS-based, like higher order, to test the higher order thinking skills, abilities of the learners, and also reasoning and application skills. After that, we have included life skills and values. This can be discussion-based, or they need to art integration-based, or they can be hone the observational skills also, mainly to promote 21st century competencies, life skills, and the 4 C's. Subject integration, every chapter, it will be subject integration to a particular thing. So in this particular screenshot, I've included cross-curricular based on science. So it's basically like in a geography chapter, like how based on like landforms, how plants and animals survive, they have to find and show it in their notebook. So similarly, in various ways, how a particular chapter can have a subject integration. India specific questions, it's very unique to Indian indigenous things, information. It can be an activities also, all rooted in Indian culture, tradition, values. Project-based questions also we have given to promote collaboration, experiential learning, critical thinking, research-based. Students can take the help of internet also to do this activity. And then digital learning at the end. So for more information, our link of the particular website we have given. So basically, for example, there is a particular chapter in grade 7 part 2, which is kingdoms and states between 6th to 10th centuries. So based on Xuanzang, we have given that link. So in this way, we have designed our book. We have the teacher's resource book, which include detailed lesson plans, suggested activities, answers to course book questions. Then digital support. These are easy access via QR codes and comprehensive digital suite. So I will also show you how to do it. Digital assets. Just have a look, dear teachers, at this table. So for teachers and learners, what all we are providing, like ebook, we are providing for teachers and learners. Lesson plan for teachers, not for learners. Animation and videos for both. Interactive maps for both. Worksheet for teachers, which will help you to make question papers, test papers, like you want to conduct a weekly test, class test, whatever. Test generator, similar purpose. Question bank, it's basically a question bank. QR code worksheets given in your book. If you have the hard copy, you just turn the page and you will see the inner title. You will see there's a QR code given. You just need to access the QR code and scan the QR code, and the question worksheets will be visible. You don't need to log in with username or password. Answer keys are provided for the teachers. Implementation plan. So implementation plan of this teaching. So basically detailed lesson plan and the continuous assessment to chapter and exercises, test papers, as well as worksheets and the question banks provided in the digital suite. Best practices. Follow the recommended lesson plan. Actively use activities and resources to prevent rote learning. Try to link social science to everyday life. Engage and interact with students to promote collaborative learning. Encourage students to do practice exercises at the end of the chapters. Now, I will share a PDF to help you go through this chapter. I would just request one of you to please tell me if the screen of this PDF is visible to you.
Yes, Ishita, it's visible.
Okay, so this particular chapter is from grade 8, part 1, the colonial era in India. Now, one of the unique features that I had spoken about is that our unique feature of this series is that it's a balanced approach between NCERT, with the content is not too heavy, as well as it's not too text heavy. So through this chapter, I will tell you. So you see the first this chapter. So it's based on the, we told you it's theme based. So based on the theme tapestry of the past, it's given in the NCERT book, the colonial era. First, learning outcome. So the learning outcomes from this particular chapter, followed by tickle your brain, which is the warm-up activity. Then teaching the core concepts. So you are teaching the core concepts. Now here comes the difference. So we have introduced by age of colonialism. Now we have given you brief introduction of what is colonialism, just telling the students that people from outside India came and colonized our country, doesn't make them and subjugated all laws, rules enforced on the indigenous people, doesn't give an idea. So we have to make them understand these are kids of grade 8, they will be going in 9 and 10, and then further on. So nowadays, there are a lot of options posts for studying social science. It's considered to be a very monotonous subject. However, now various avenues are available to learners to pursue this subject, and it just is not restricted to teaching or UPSC examination. They can do much further, like people can take architecture by studying about Indian architecture, as well as public policy. They are interested in civics, then economics, as always there, now it has been integrated within social science. Similarly, there are various things like, you can become a philosopher and everything. And now the avenues are so much. So it's very important that various concepts are also being taught to students. So they need to know and be aware of what is colonialism, and because these things are very important in today's concept. So we have introduced in a very lucid, simple language, what does colonialism mean, followed by how it shaped the history of the world during that period, 17th, 18th century. So here we have started like from 15th century onwards, the rivalry among the European powers, which set the process of colonialism. Then we have given a timeline of the period between 15th to 19th century. The various, this was a time period that was covered within the book. So various important events have been marked. Coming of Europeans in India, so the Portuguese, followed by the Dutch, the French, and finally the British, who from traders became the rulers of India. Now, InfoByte, it is the extra information that I have mentioned. So you can see on the right side of the page, the information, extra information that we have provided. Now, various British policies to establish supremacy, policy of divide and rule, conquest through battles. Now, through the battles of Plassey and Buxar, we have not just touched on the topic, we have given a brief idea, like for Battle of Buxar, the main parties involved, and what was the outcome of the battle, because we need to show a continuity. Just by Battle of Buxar and it held British supremacy, no, they need to understand like what happened, but you can see the content is not too heavy. Followed by policies of British expansion, like they follow the policy of doctrine of lapse, its impact, subsidiary alliance, its impact. Now a case study, this particular case study is on Awadh, which became a victim of, Nawab of Awadh became a victim of subsidiary alliance. The way he thought he would gain from the British partners as a subsidiary alliance, and the impact it had on its region. Before that, there is a Let's Learn More, which is research based. So, so there are suggested activities that we talk about, like if you're teaching this particular policies of British expansion, and within this you see Let's Learn More. So you educators can take the help of this Let's Learn More, break the monotony if it was becoming too, and help and have a discussion within class. You can give this case study as a homework or ask them to solve it within the class. That's upon you. Then how the British changed India from paradise to hell. So basically the impact of British colonialism in India, the first thing is devastating famines that ravaged India. With this, the concept of famine, they have already studied much of it within geography and in historical context, like what happened, how did this famine affect, and how it ultimately changed the Indian scenario. India at the beginning of 17th century used to contribute to GDP, 1/4 of world's GDP. From there, we became one of the most impoverished country of the world. So through these British policies, with this, we will be able to understand how the transformation of India took place during this particular time period. Now, there's a question called Let's Reflect, and there is an SDG to Zero Hunger. So here, the particular question is being linked to SDG. Now, the drain of India's wealth. We have talked about Dadabhai Naoroji, his famous book, Poverty and Un-British Rule, his opinions and views, and how the wealth of India was drained. Then decline of India's indigenous industries. So, this has a very real life connect. We gave you an idea that how to implement the process, link social science to everyday life. So here I'll just give you one example, dear educators, like decline of India's indigenous industry. Before the coming of the British, we were a textile industry where we used to export muslin as well as chins and materials, cotton, and this calico print. These were very famous, and it was popular all over India, and it was very coveted. So craftsmanship, our textile was very coveted, and we used to take rich pride in that. Slowly, with coming of British, with industrialization, how machines took over and led to a decline of our indigenous cottage industry. Right now, you can link this with today's revival. Like, we are talking about handloom, we are talking about vocal for local. The government is pushing for all these policies. So slowly we were seeing that a lot of Western dresses and everything was coming up, which is okay. We can always adapt ourselves to become global citizens, but at the same time, we should not forget our roots. So indigenous industries like the sari and everything is making a comeback, with handloom being in process, cottage industry, people who work with their hands, like we are giving a lot of emphasis to our craftsmanship. Then destruction of traditional governance system, like we were in self-governing units, how the British ruined that governing system. So local laws in many parts of India right now also, there are certain traditional local laws which the constitution has also accepted that it can be despite the constitution being in place, that can also be practiced. So that is given a lot of importance in today's world. So this is also linking social science to everyday life. British transformed Indian education system. So again, you can link this with real life connect. Like, we were very vernacular based, like temple, madrasa-based learning, and local languages, philosophy, astronomy, Vedic language, vocal, vocational skills. We used to be it. With the coming of the British Western education, like English was adopted. Like English, though we had a lot of, most of us today take pride in, like, we speak proper, fluent English, but it's ultimately a foreign language. However, there are certain benefits to it, like it united India, it created a national awakening, and how it brought India together to fight against the colonial rule. But at the same time, British established several universities and colleges in main presidencies like Calcutta, Bombay, Madras, which still continue to function today. So, and we were introduced to Western philosophy and concepts. A lot of our freedom fighters were influenced by the ideas of democracy, liberalism, nationalism, which urged them to fight for independence. So these are real life connect. While teaching these particular paragraphs also, you can link in this way. Reshaping India's economic structure, I had already spoken about, like how from contributing to the global GDP, we became a importer of mainly British textiles. Railways and telegraphs, which were introduced by the colonial rulers, considered to be gift, but ultimately it served their purpose. But it also had in hindsight, it also connected different parts of India. Now, a global connect, which right at this page is Industrial Revolution, because we're talking about railways and telegraphs. So we thought at that time period, Industrial Revolution took place first in England, then it spread to Europe, and what is its impact. So a parallel event of that particular era which took place, we have tried to connect over here. Let's check is the in-text questions we have given, followed by the various early resistance movement against colonial authorities. So we have given a brief overview of the 𝗦𝘂𝗶𝗶𝗃 rebellion, which took place in Bengal in the 18th century. Tribal uprisings like coal uprising, the Santhal rebellion, then peasant uprisings like the Indigo rebellion, Blue rebellion. So, we have given a brief idea. In NCERT, you will not find such details or just a passage mention, but I think we need to go into the detail of this early resistance movement, because they shaped and they did take place, and we need to acknowledge the contribution of people at the bottom of the society also, that how they were suppressed and how they revolted, and ultimately it paved the way for nationalism. The revolt of 1857, it has been touched in part 1 very lightly. Here we have given a brief overview of what the revolt was, how it spread, and some of the causes. So you can see we have not given in a very detailed how do I say, not detailed, I would rather say like in a bullet point, concise manner we have given. Beginning and spread of the revolt, like with the use of cartridge, which is very important in field rifle. We need to mention the spread of the revolt. We've given a map over here to show how the spread of the revolt and the main regions from where it took place, suppression of the revolt, and this is a focus on two women leaders, Rani Lakshmibai, without whom the revolt and Indian nationalism cannot be studied, as well as Begum Hazrat Mahal of Lucknow. Now, a brief overview of the causes and failure of the revolt of 1857. So, whenever we teach any topic, be it geography, history, civics, we need to give an idea of chronologically and a gradual progression. Why did that concept take place? How did it happen? Like, if you're talking about Green Revolution in agriculture, why was Green Revolution necessary? How it came into being, its effects. Like, though it led to increase in production, but it does also have certain side effects, and what attempts are being made to take control of that. So similarly, whether it is geography, history, and civics, we try to follow this progression across all our chapters in this particular series of New Growth Social Science. The revolt did not fail, so we give a brief idea that it did not succeed, but it became a turning point, and the long-lasting effects of European colonialism. This brings an end to the chapter. After this, you will see word stock, which is the meanings of difficult words, a recap, and now the practice time, the question part we have been talking about. Here we have given true or false, fill in the blanks, and choose the correct options. Now, choose the correct options. Most of the questions are not just direct. We have tried to include some shuffle aligned questions, but all the shuffle mainly aligned questions you will find in the worksheet. In the QR code worksheet, if you have a book, just open the book. On the left cover, you will see a QR code worksheet. All the questions, because NCF talks about shuffle aligned in grades 3, 5, and 8. So we have given it in book 8 worksheets. Some of the practice and chapter questions are shuffle aligned. We have not tagged it though, like not, which of the following sentences incorrect, as well as competency-based questions like such as assertion and reasoning, as well as statement-based questions. Then answer the following questions in brief, in detail, picture study to hone observational skills of learners. Map activity, we have given a map, the point we will find in the chapters. Then that in NEP and NEP 2020 and NCF connect within the chapter, like critical thinking, and followed by the life skill and value-based questions, subject integration, India-specific questions, project activity, as well as digital learning. So digital learning, I'm just increasing the, yes, so you can, for more, visit the following. So Mangal Pandey from Britannica, they just need to click on it and automatically it opens to a particular, so it's a clickable link. So this is how a chapter has been designed in this particular series. Now I will just show you in this particular book. These are the civics chapters followed by the economics chapter. Similar way, you can see now the test paper. So at the end of the book, we have given the model test papers. All the questions, assertion, reasoning, statement, choose the correct options, true or false, fill in the blanks, brief, detail, picture study, map activity. We have given some practice maps wherever possible, followed by the HPC, Holistic Progress Card, based on the chapters that have been covered. This is how we have designed our book. Now, I will show you a TRP, which is Teacher's Resource Book. So this Teacher's Resource Book includes the lesson plans, answer keys to course book. So Teacher's Resource Book, New Growth Social Science for grade 7. Now, I have shown you a chapter from book 8. For Teacher's Resource Book, I've given you book 7. So book 7, I'll show you. Now, book 7, you know, it is divided into part 1 and 2. Like there are 2 books. So here what we have done, Teacher's Resource Book is only 1 book. First, you will see chapter alignment to curricular goals and competencies. So I'm just increasing the size. You'll see part 1, theme based, and then the chapter wise, the curricular goals that are mentioned, CG 1, 6, 7 for geographical diversity of India, and the competencies. These are all based on the NCF guidelines given in that book. So we have taken from that. So for part 1, all the chapters that you see over have been covered in grade 7. We have given in curricular goals and the competencies that have been covered in that particular chapter, followed by part 2. Then the content of part 1, the lesson plans, followed by answer key to the course book for lesson plan, answer key to part 1, then part 2. So I'll just show you a brief idea. So this is a lesson plan for first chapter. Suggested number of periods we have given 4. Learning objectives, what will how to enable students to attain the learning objectives, a warm-up, the resources that you need, the instructions for the lesson plan. So it's a very detailed, comprehensive lesson plans, additional activities that we mentioned. So you can take the help of these activities, suggested activities, and ask the students to do those activities within the while teaching the chapter. Home assignment, you can ask the students to do these home assignments, or if you want to include something, that also you can do. So you are the best discretion, you have the best discretion to take whatever call you want. If you want these questions to be given as home assignment, or you want to give them something else, that's absolutely your call. And the learning outcomes. Then session 2 on, and the session 2 of that particular chapter, similar way. Session 3 and session 4. So we've given 4 to complete this particular chapter. We have given you suggested 4 periods. So these are the 4 sessions how we think that this chapter can be taught in class. Sometimes even if there are 2, just say 2-3 sessions a particular year, but a suggested number of periods is because we thought that maybe to include those exercises and everything, it will take 1 more period. So in that way, however, this is suggestive, all suggestive. If you want to include something on your own, please go ahead and do it. That is, you are the best person to understand and take this call. So in this way, part 1 is coming. I will just show you all the chapters. First, the lesson plans. Then answer key to the course book. So this is part 1 that is continuing of grade 7. All the answers like tickle your brain. Now sometimes there you will find that suggested answers are given as well as accept any relevant response like life skill and values. So if you are asking students to conduct a role play in class, for example, so it's a suggestive, accept any relevant response. So whatever you want to accept that response as, please go ahead and do it. Mostly accept any relevant response or answer may vary, depends on those NCF questions at the back, which are like life skills and values, subject integration, those kind of things. Now, here, let's check in-text question answers are given. We have given the answer to case study, practice time, all the questions, answers we have given. Map activity, relevant response, please. The critical thinking, so they have to think and answer the questions, and all these questions we have given suggested things as well as whatever you feel as relevant response. Now this goes on for first part 1, all the answer keys are given. Then here it ends part 1 and part 2. Part 2 of 7. Similarly, the lesson plan starts of part 2. Same way it has been designed. Then at the end, answer keys to part 2. I'll just show you. Part 2, answer keys. So this is how a TRB detailed lesson plan and answer keys, which includes suggested tips, activities, and answer keys. So we have given. So this is the teacher's resource book and the course book. Now I will show you the digital suite. The digital suite is basically like this. So it's the ebook, worksheets, like on any chapter. Let's just open this chapter. The worksheet will open. Oceans and continents. So what you need to do is that this is downloadable. So you need to click this and select download. You can take a printout also and it will be done. Or if you want to take a printout like this, or if you want to save on your desktop, so you save on your desktop, it can be saved. So this is the worksheets. This is for grade 6. Now lesson plans are also given. I've showed you answer keys. For answer keys to the worksheets also you will find over here. Now there is one thing is text generator. So text generator, I'll just show you. So if you click on text generator, it comes as start. Now let's just say auto. You can choose manual also. Now suppose there is a weekly test that you want to take in class. So I'm just choosing the chapters. Let's say weekly test on the first 2 chapters. You want to create a test paper. You take these 2. Duration of minutes, you want to take like, let's say 40 minutes. Now fill in the blanks. You want to number of questions. So since it is auto, you are taking like 5 questions, 5. For through multiple, you want to take short answer questions. Short answer questions also you want 5. You want to 2 marks each. It depends on you. Multiple choice questions, 1 5, 2 marks each, 25 marks you want to do. Submit. You want to you say yes. Now here, if you want to add more textbook question, you can go. If you want to add new questions, for example, suppose I'm just giving an example, fill in the blanks. The question is the dash divides the dash, for example, divides the earth into 2 halves, let's just say. Then answer is equator. Just for example, marks is 1 because you're giving on the you give submit. So new question has been added. It comes. Now you see, though, this is a wrong question that you have given. If you want to edit some spelling mistake, you want to do, you can change it over here. You want to replace this question into something else, or if you want to remove it also, you can do. Just remove it. Confirm. Okay. All the questions that you want to do, if you want to edit whatever addition you want to do, then finalize. School name, just say ABC test paper, class 6, subject social science, 40 marks, submit. So teacher's copy will include answers, student's copy will not include the answers. You take doc and you click on print, enter file name doc. PDF will be, it will come as a PDF, and if it comes as doc, you will see this. So open file. So if you open this, here you can edit again, and here you can edit again, whatever addition you want to do, and then take a printout. So this is how you do the test generator. This brings me to the end of presentation. If you have any question, please feel free to ask. The session is open for question and answer.
Thank you so much, Ishita, for such an insightful and engaging session. Your valuable perspectives and practical inputs have truly enriched today's discussion. And I would also like to sincerely thank all the educators and participants who joined us today. Your enthusiastic presence and participation are deeply appreciated. We now open the floor for questions. You may either unmute yourself and ask your question directly or type it in the chat box. So, any questions, anyone?